So this is the second video of just an overview of the shadow fellowships that I want to start. And shadow work is, if you think about your shadow, something that follows you around, it's not really anything that you are aware of, but your shadow does have an influence on you. So clinical mental health, we are often looking at things that we brought to our present existence, to our present experience, from our childhood, from all of the messages that we've received. And quite often, our past is going to define how we look into the future. So, shadow work is kind of like this. It's kind of like your life is a house and you have a basement or you have a cellar. And in the basement and the cellar, you have just stored things unconsciously. And all of this stuff that has been stored inside of you over the years that you've been on this earth affect your experience of the present and also impact your outlook regarding the future. And when you investigate your shadow or you investigate your dark side, it's going to give you more knowledge of who you are. And the better you understand yourself, the better you're going to be able to channel characters that you're developing for a story, the better decisions you're going to be able to make, the better impact you're going to have on this world. And the more you can do your work and understand your dark side, the more you can become an authentic human being and you can give yourself to the world. There are several different parts to these workshops that I'm working on, and I want to just introduce several of them so you have a good idea about what your experience is going to be. At its core, this is going to be an interpersonal journey that you define for yourself, using this Jungian idea that the more you become fully integrated, the more you'll be content and confident in what you present to the world. And when we understand our own struggles and we understand how we limit ourselves showing up to the world, it also puts us in a position to better engage others and help them in their journeys. So we're going to utilize different personality tests, first of all, in order to really give you some insight into who you are. And there are two personality tests that I use in my clinical practice. One personality test is the MBTI, which is the Myers-Briggs Type Inventory. And this particular inventory has a lot of empirical scientific data to back it up. And a lot of you are familiar with this. You get a four-letter kind of an acronym response, INFJ, ENTP. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is used in clinical mental health. So it's a very informative tool when used correctly. Now, the other tool we're going to use is a tool called the Enneagram. And the history of the Enneagram is that components of this particular model have been around a lot longer than the Myers-Briggs typology indicator. And so what I would say is that even though there's not a lot of empirical evidence for the Enneagram, although it's starting to be studied at some of the big universities like Yale, I think is starting to study this more thoroughly, I have yet to give the Enneagram to any of my clients and have them say this is just really inaccurate. Now, most people have never experienced these personality indicators in a professional clinical mental health setting. They may have taken the MBTI or the Enneagram in a work setting to figure out what position you might be good for. And sometimes these tests are used in like volunteer agencies to figure out what position you would best fit. But in these workshops, you're going to have the opportunity to go much deeper with these models. Now, another component of these workshops is we are going to look at how you create space. Because in our busy world, if we don't create space for our own creativity and our own personal development, it's very challenging to figure out who we are and what makes us tick. So there are different ways to look at this space that I'm going to help you create. For some people, you might call it meditation. And when you practice things like transcendental meditation, there's a lot of scientific support to how it rewires your brain, how it makes you a more efficient thinker, how it helps your brain to heal from past traumas. Some people might even call it prayer. And I may even say to the more creative people who are taking these workshops, this is also a chance for you to create space so that you can channel the characters that you're developing, or you can channel the song that you're writing or the poem that you're developing. But one thing is very certain to me is that in our busy world where we're bombarded with technology and advertisements, where we're scrolling on our phones, all of this stuff, creating space is one of the most important things that we can do because it helps our mind heal from past traumas. It helps us be more creative in day-to-day life. Most importantly, it helps us to do our interpersonal work, to have time to reflect. So a part of these workshops is going to be to introduce you to very different practices that seek to just create space for your interpersonal growth and healing and for your creative outlet. And of course, there's going to be like a psychoeducational component to this, where I take some time to educate you about the different research and the different practices that are out there. But in the end, what you get out of these workshops are really going to be up to you. And I want everyone to understand a couple of things. First of all, these workshops are not a replacement for therapy. I hope that these workshops will be very therapeutic and will bring a lot to your life. And also, I hope it's understood that in these workshops, you have full permission and full agency to take what you like from the workshop, and things that you don't like, you can leave behind. Well, hopefully that helps give you a clear idea of what you'll be experiencing in these workshops. So please continue to ask questions, continue to respond to these videos, or email me. The email can be found in the comments below. I look forward to the possibility of experiencing these workshops with you. All right, I better go see what this Bubby wants, because I think he's telling the people across the street that this is his house.